no, 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 no. When you start talking about, I needed to find the root of why I did things, this is you trying to not take accountability. Episode 3. Count them 3. And we are already starting to see the cracks. And this is what I'm talking about with why we know that the experts just don't have a clue. And we haven't even seen their faces yet, but we know they made the decisions. So it is on and it's going to be insane. Don't take any joy from it, but kind of, a little bit, because they signed up for it, and they signed up to say the experts will pick them, and it never works out. Will we find out why Thomas is perpetually sad? Is David really a nice guy, or do we find out that he might have something underneath? Are sound baths really going to solve the problems of Juan and Carla? Madison and Alan seem like they have chemistry that I wouldn't have anticipated, but will it actually work? And will Emem and Ikechi actually make the chemistry happen when he doesn't seem to even know what he wants in life? We will see all of that, but first make sure you comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. I appreciate all the support. Thank you so much, everybody, one and all. Let's get on it because the madness is real.
I mean, that is kind of setting the tone for what I think's to come.
What do you think is to come?
I hope, sir, that we just choose each other.
Now look at her.
We can both agree.
Look at her
to
face.
See that through.
Now she's saying a lot of nice things. Like, we can all see it through, and we can agree to choose each other every day. But look at her face right now. Her face stayed like that the whole time they were dancing. She would glance over at him and look away. It was almost like she wasn't trying to kiss him. So she's saying a lot of good things. And she's saying, this seems really good. But her body language is saying something different. And I don't think she's really into him like that. And him, on the other hand, we see a few of maybe the red flags from his past that they're kind of pointing out. Whether that matters or not, we'll see. But either way, it's showing some cracks in the armor.
Expectations you had for yourself back then, or was it just like
talking about relationships, by the way?
I needed
to grow into who you were going to be.
I did. I think she wanted to be married too, and I wasn't sure about it.
Yeah, wasn't sure about it. Needed more time, except for the fact that he's like 42. So his relationship ended 4 years ago. That would have made him 38. He was in a 9-year relationship, which means he got into the relationship at 29. We're not talking about a relationship you got into when you were 18. So that is one thing you see that might be a problem is, if he's not ready then, when he's almost 30, when he started a relationship, then what makes you think now you're going to be ready when you're 42? You think because you're older now? I mean, what has changed with you? These are questions that need to be asked. And why weren't they asked by the experts? Because they don't seem to have to get it together, or don't seem to get it together every season since God knows when the last season where it might have actually worked.
What happened or why it ended?
How the relationship ended.
If I'm being 100% honest with myself,
with yourself,
I was not a good boyfriend.
First, what do you mean being honest with yourself, or are you being honest with them?
At the end of that relationship.
What do you mean?
So first, he says being honest with myself. So I think that automatically makes you think he's not being honest with himself. And he says he wasn't good at the end of that relationship. But you see how he's really downplaying things.
Makes you feel like that?
I stepped outside of our relationship.
Really downplaying.
I mean, when you say
So you get the friend that likes to follow up and ask questions, which he wasn't anticipating, obviously.
stepped out, do you mean like you stepped out, like cheating, or you checked out?
No, like infidelity.
Okay,
Wow.
so he finally admits it after dancing around the subject. I get he's uncomfortable, but he definitely was really trying to downplay it. The problem here isn't the cheating. I mean, it's a problem, but people do things in their past. It can be forgivable. People, aren't, without being able to be forgiven, if you will. Now, of course, you can find someone that's like, I don't forgive you. It's like, okay, you got to move on. But that's not the biggest issue here. The biggest issue here is how he's really trying to downplay it, really trying to almost lie about it still, which shows that maybe he hasn't actually found that growth to learn from his mistakes.
I put a lot of work in
ya?
myself. And
I don't buy it.
Following that, I did some therapy. I saw a therapist for like 6 months because I wanted to find the root of what my actions were.
See that? No. When you start talking about, I needed to find the root of why I did things. This is you trying to not take accountability. Because if you did, you take accountability and say, listen, I messed up. If you need to go to therapy because you're dealing with some depression or whatever you need to work through, that's fine. But saying you need to go to therapy because you need to figure out why you did that, no, because you know what? A man takes accountability. A real man is not a man who makes a mistake and then just tries to downplay it. A real man makes mistakes and then owns it. So this gives me concern for him. And oh, by the way, why does he perpetually have a frown on his face?
Really have been enjoying talking to him because I think
Good.
I've been able to dig to the deeper, and like his core values are amazing.
Your values and your morals are
How do we break
very
it to her?
similar. But he did openly admit to stepping out of his relationship.
Well, look at this. Look, she immediately starts adjusting. Like, she may try. She can try as she might. She cannot hide the fact that this makes her extremely uncomfortable. And there's nothing wrong with being uncomfortable with that. Your first inclination is to be like, he'll do it to me. You haven't gotten to know him yet. You don't know if he's changed. So I get that. But this is really setting up the dynamic of the relationship and how it's actually going to work or it's not going to work. She is trying so hard and saying a lot of things, but her body language is saying something different. This is why I have advocated 100% for this show and the experts pulling in a body language expert. Now, reading body language is not a science. Like, anyone who is good at it, claims to be an expert, will even tell you if they're really a good person trying to educate someone on it, will let you know that it's not a science. It's not the whole, if they look up and to the left, they're lying. That's just not true. It's more about patterns than it is about this specific body language thing is what is saying someone's lying or being dishonest or being uncomfortable. But when you see people fidgeting and doing things like that, it can mean they're uncomfortable. And I think her facial expressions, what she's doing, shows that she is not happy with this. So we will see what happens with them. Either way, I think the cheating thing is going to be a problem. I hope he's not one of the ones that steps out on the relationship, but we will see. Now, Michelle and David really are kind of polar opposites in how they see things, what they want, the niceness factor. I mean, she's not nice, but he really comes off as the nice guy. Now, we could find out differently later in the season, but as of right now, where we're at, it seems that way.
I'm nervous, obviously, because I'm so independent.
What?
Like, I've been single for 6 years. Am I too set in my ways now?
Okay, listen, she keeps pointing out the fact that she's very independent. You know what that says to me? You are not ready, because the fact is you can be independent in a sense. You can still hang out with your friends. There's nothing wrong with having friends when you're in a marriage. But when you're ready for marriage, you're looking for someone to spend your life with, to share life with. You're looking for not just having your independence, but being a unit together. That means not being as independent because you are relying on another person to spend your life with and go through this whole crazy thing we call life together so you can have more fulfillment. She keeps putting so much emphasis on that, but I'm so independent. Am I set in my ways? Probably, because you keep saying it, which means you're not going to be ready, which at 38, I believe she says she was. You know, you only got so much time. I mean, you could get married later, but if you want to have kids and do things like that, you only have so much time to do those things. So you need to kind of really soul search for what you want. And maybe this guy's not the right person. Maybe it's not. But if you do want someone to spend your life with, you need to start considering that now. And she's still saying things where she might not be ready.
His daughter, and
First time ever this has happened.
Family means everything to me as well.
Never seen this before.
It's a great start.
Yes, it is.
Introducing everyone.
Thank you very
See,
much.
now that is the respect that we like to see. Now, like I said, that's right now. You know, people can show a certain side, but then have a different side. So, we'll see. But as of right now, that's the first time I've seen that. Now, I haven't watched every single season from the beginning, so you can correct me if I'm wrong if someone else has gone out before they actually read their vows and said, hey, nice to meet you, shook your hand and everything. But that's a nice, respectful thing, so I do like that.
I do have to say, I do socially smoke, though.
Socially
like
smoke.
cigarettes?
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's gross.
She's straight up. Okay.
I was like, oh, goodness.
That is something that
Watch
I'm willing
this,
to
though.
stop, though. I just do it.
You should quit that for your own health.
Yeah,
Willing to stop, that's
I
what he says,
should.
that's great.
I just wanted to know off the bat, and I'm real. Like, I ain't got nothing
Are
to
you?
hide. So,
But
I'm just going to go with the vaping. And
there it
try teeter off.
Listen to that right there. He tells her that he is socially smoking, but then in his interview, he says, so I'm going to have to go with the vaping and teeter off. If you're only a social smoker, like, and that's legitimate, why do you have to teeter off? You know, if you, I have a cigar. You know what? My ending week routine is to have a cigar on Friday. I smoke one cigar a week on Friday. That's what I do. I can stick with that. That is socially, or just not even socially, because, you know, no one's around me. I'm not hanging out. But it is something I do at the end of the week. This guy, if he's going out with his friends on the weekends, having a cigarette, whatever, okay. I mean, people cannot like it, but you're probably not really addicted. If you're having to teeter off, do vaping and all that, kind of get off of it, yeah, dude, it's more than that. So you telling her I socially smoke, you're just lying. It's a lie. So you're starting your relationship off with lies about petty stuff. That is where I start to see maybe some things change later on. We'll see. Not good to start the relationship off that way. Now, he did tell her that he lives at home, and she was not having it. He explained that he had a condo, he was there alone, he sold it, he went back home for a little bit trying to save some money. It's not the typical just live at home, not failure to launch. He works, everything like that. So it's not that big of a deal if you present it the right way and say how, oh, you're just trying to save a little bit of money, but now that I'm moving on with my life and going to spend my life with you and have someone to go through this crazy thing called life with, you know, we're going to get our own place. We're going to buy a house. We're going to get rid of an apartment, whatever. But he didn't approach it that way. He just kind of left it at he lives at home and said a couple things. So now she's kind of flip it out, really, and she can't get out of her head about it.
I'm still very overwhelmed. I don't love how he lives with his parents.
Okay.
I am focused on that, but
Yes.
I'm going to try to not make that my only focus.
It's her only focus, and she is struggling to get that out of her head.
I am what's going wrong.
Ah.
I'm the bad picker. Because I am the common denominator in all these past relationships that haven't worked out. So
Yes. Yes. You might be the problem. And you saying that, you know, I'm really independent and am I ready? I'm sensing that is been the, you know, the kind of thing and catalyst, whatever you want to call it, in all your past relationships. I'm not saying there hasn't been guys you've been with that have been, you know, screwed you over. I'm sure there has been. You know, there's bad apples in every bunch, whatever you want to call it. But it really seems clear that you are kind of stuck in your ways. The question is, can you step outside of yourself and be like, you know what? I can be this person I want to be. I can work. I can do all these things. I can have independence in a sense while still sharing and spending my life with someone else. So surrender plus independence. Finding that balance makes a good relationship. And she seems like she puts so much focus on the independence. I don't know if she can find that balance. Oh, she flipping out.
Take a breather.
What are we doing?
I don't want his family to see it. I know, it's okay.
You don't want his family to see her. Why are you crying?
Okay, let's go.
She has to go to the bathroom to cry, but why?
But I want this, and I want to make it work.
Wait, what?
He lives with his parents. She's flipping out. She is crying in the bathroom. What? What?
Fixated on it.
Oh my gosh, she is flipping the hell out.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
And
She gotta chill.
really hard on myself because I'm not trying to ruin the moment.
Oh my gosh. You are ruining the moment.
Where is my wife?
Okay, look, friend's trying to calm her down. Good Lord. What is wrong with this? But her friends go on to say, maybe there's more to it. Maybe it's this, and calm down. And they do a good job of calming her down, which is good, because losing your mind over this is not a good relationship makes, you know. This starting it off this way on your wedding day. Now, he did not approach it the right way. He hit you with that. Now, I'm not saying he should have hit it, but I'm saying he could have been put more emphasis on the fact that this holds no bearing, you know, no bearing on our relationship. We're going to get our own place. I'm just telling you because that's where I'm at right now. But hey, we go to our honeymoon, we go back live together. And we're moving into our own place after we choose each other on decision day, because that's the plan. You know, something like that to really give some confidence and show that you really care. But instead, he just kind of like, yeah, I live there because, you know, I was kind of alone in my own place. So, yeah. And it wasn't the best approach. Now, Juan and Carla seem to have some very different ideas of things. She's all about sound baths and meditation and all that stuff, while still seeming like she has some interesting habits that are not going to bode well. And he seems like, even though he goes out on the weekends and things, he's about structure during the week and trying to really make things work in a certain kind of way. So are they going to be able to make this work? Because she seems like she wants to make him come to her free-spirited side. I don't think that's going to go very well.
Any revenue yet?
To me, money is energy. I don't really care anything about money. To me, it like comes and goes.
Thank you for saying that.
Oh, hell no.
I mean, I truly don't care.
What are you talking about? Money is energy. Money means nothing. Now, should you put your whole existence on money? No, but if you want a relationship to really last, you have to be willing to budget on what you spend. You have to pay the bills. You have to plan. You want to go on a vacation, you got to plan for that. And unless you're just some rich person, unless you're like won the lottery, or maybe you make a lot of money, maybe you work hard and you're able to save for that. But if you can't plan, then you are going to have financial issues, and it is just going to cause a strain on your relationship. So starting it off by saying it's just energy, man, like, hippie, moving all around like a hippie, like gyrating and stuff like your Woodstock 99, it ain't going to work out. I'm telling you right now, that idea about money is going to lead to problems with them.
To his life. Not everything has to be
Just pause. She doesn't know what she's trying to bring to his life.
planned. There doesn't need to be structure. You can go with the flow.
Yeah, go with the flow, man. You can just
Everything always works out.
Did you hear what she says right there? You can just go with the flow and everything always works out. Again, these people, it's like they choose the people that have never had a serious relationship, who never actually tried to work through things with anybody. If you've been in a serious relationship, you know that, yes, you can get through things, but not everything always works out. You have to adapt. You have to kind of work with things, and you have to plan and educate each other and yourself on how to deal with it without losing your mind and taking it out on each other. That is how a relationship works. It's compromise. It's companionship. It's understanding. It's really being there when the times hurt. It is past the honeymoon phase. It is all of those things and more, and she doesn't have a damn clue. And that is the problem. Real love is being there for the person in the hardest times, not making it work, man. Nah.
I don't know, I'm speaking maybe for myself, but I don't think men are mature enough in their 20s to make that type of commitment.
Cope.
Yeah.
Massive
we're more
cope.
mature in our 30s to be ready.
Dude, massive cope. There is nothing wrong with a man being mature in his 20s, being able to figure it out and get married. Not everyone is there. You're right. Now, if you say, I don't think everyone's there, but he's basically saying all men aren't mature enough in their 20s. Depends on who you're with. You choose the wrong ones, sure. I mean, and this is coming from a guy who was not mature enough in my 20s to have any kind of relationship. But you know what the great thing about it was? I had a great person beside me that stuck by me through all my BS. And guess who's there riding with me today? That beautiful woman. So you got to it's about finding the right person. It is not just about, I'm not mature enough, so I'm just not going to settle down. It's about finding the right person and committing. The problem with these people on this show is they don't have the right people who are ready to commit. I get it. It's married at first sight. You don't know these people. It's harder because you haven't had the time to build that relationship. But the problem is you commit, you're going into it to get married, so it's time to put the chips down and be like, I'm in it. But almost none of them do that. Every now and again, but for the last few seasons, rarely.
We got married at first sight.
What the hell is he doing?
I saw you walking down the aisle. You look so
is this his way of freestyling?
You mesmerized me with your looks.
He's like, what? This fool busts out the guitar. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Animal House when John Belushi walks by and he picks up the guitar and just starts smashing it. I'm like, my man, I don't know what you're doing here, if this is how you serenade, but I don't got nothing more for this clip other than, yeah, okay. That ain't gonna get it there, buddy. Maybe initially, but it is a good relationship your song will not make, my friend. Now, out of all the couples, Madison and Alan seem like they have the best chemistry. However, she did say that after, this is great and I'm happy, he's not my typical type, which is one thing we see over and over and over again. And what's her typical type? Someone who spends a lot of time at the gym. Every time we shot her, she has had a recording of her when they were shooting video of her, she's at the gym. So, okay, makes sense. But at least it seems like she's open and she's like, she really likes spending time with him. So right now, the chemistry is there. But remember, they just met. This is the wedding night. They're riding a high. Then they go off into the honeymoon, still riding a high. Now, of course, we've seen things fall apart on the honeymoon. But will it happen with them? I don't know. And maybe we see some of that later. But right now, they're the ones that come off as having the best chemistry.
He's pulled the chair open for me every single time. He asked to kiss me before he kissed me, even as his wife.
Yeah.
Like, he's everything he's...
That's Alan.
I know, but like, for me, I haven't gotten a man to do that.
Yeah. This is the problem, because you have not chosen good men. You have not... Why do I say good men? You have not chosen men. Now, not every man pulls the chair out and things like that. But what you're describing right now is you have not had a man that has been respectful to you. Now, I don't think you need to always be like, hey, can I kiss you? That's a little odd. But in this case, you just met. So he's like, yes, we got married, but I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable by kissing you if you want a little bit of space first because we're getting to know each other. So it kind of fits here. But that's just a man being respectful, and she's so shocked that she has a man that is being respectful to her. You know what that says to me? She hasn't chosen the best men throughout her life. And that's sad. It's sad that she's gone to these certain types, but, you know, she also says, oh, I've chosen the typical, you know, more built body and muscular and things like that. I'm like, okay, now not every guy with muscles is going to be some punk or anything like that you don't want to be around, sure. But clearly she's stuck to a type all throughout her, you know, whatever, 20s. And now she's like, what? There are nice guys out there? I'm like, yeah, lady, I hate to break it to you, but the TV ain't right every time they show guys as being a bunch of people who going to cheat on you. That doesn't happen. You get the right guy who's dedicated to you, you're good. And guess what? There's a lot of them out there, but clearly you weren't looking in the right places. I hope this guy is right for you.
To be honest, people take one look at me and they're like, you're gorgeous.
What?
You must be stuck up and snobby.
Oh my gosh, she said, to be this is where I'm like, all right, it's you. It's absolutely you. She said people take one look at her and say, oh my gosh, you're gorgeous. Who says that about themselves? That's like if I were like, I mean, people just take one look at me and say, oh my gosh, you're awesome. And I'm like, what? You know, I mean, come on. Who says that about themselves unless that's what you think about yourselves, which means you talking about all these guys who haven't been nice to you, and you've got probably the same size ego as they had. Big problem. And then she's like, but they're shocked to find out I'm not snobby because I'm pretty freaking awesome. What the heck? What do you expect? Yeah, that's red flag there. That's going to be a problem if that's how she's seeing herself and that's how she carries herself in the relationship. Because if you can't find a way to be humble and, you know, kind of really humble yourself about things that happen in life, how are you going to get through things and how are you going to work them out?
I think, like, the one, like, red flag of that I got is that
red flag?
They've said that he is so accommodating and loving. Yeah. Which is amazing. But I'm like, being a giver can only do so much for you.
Listen. I mean, the one red flag I'm seeing is that he's just too nice. Like, and that is why you're here. And that is why you've had all these bad relationships. I mean, come on, man. Look, this is a big problem. And you're basically, I can tear it apart and see why you are here, why you haven't chose the right guys, why guys have been asses to you, for lack of a better term, because that's the kind of guy you attract, because you're shocked that there are nice guys out there. You think, oh, but he's too nice, and that's a red flag. Maybe it's a red flag if you think he's hiding it, or hiding like a dark side, but in reality, that's not what you're saying. You're saying, I mean, it's not good to be too nice, though. What are you going to do? Like, do you want to change, or do you want more of the same? Because that's where you're at now. You either want to change and you're like, wow, you know what? It'll be nice to be treated right for a change. Or you don't, and you can go back to those same guys that aren't going to get you anywhere. So what's it going to be? Because you got like 2 months. Now, Emem and Ikechi are having fun, but I don't know. Something about them. I don't know what it is exactly. I haven't seen a ton, you know, when it comes to the wedding right now, but I just don't think this one's going to last for sure. I just don't get a good vibe with him. I think he doesn't really know what he wants to do with his life, and she's pretty damn certain of what she wants to do, but can she step out of that career role to be in a relationship? There's just a lot of issues there. But on the lighter side, It's R&B After Dark.
You do that thing.
Yeah. Like all I imagine when, I hear that is, yeah, welcome to R&B After Dark, and we're going to play a little bit of, we got some Marvin Gaye, some Luther Vandross, then we're going to touch on a little bit of 112 and Jagged Edge as we get to the 90s. I mean, I love me some R&B, but he got that voice for radio, so gotta love that part of it. I don't know about the musical stylings of Ikechi, but you can take your voice and do a good music show like Late Nights. I can dig it.
Can happen. I don't know, but the information that I've just learned about her and what I know about her, she's dope.
Okay.
I mean, I know for a fact she's dope because you wouldn't be here grilling me if she wasn't dope.
Exactly.
You wouldn't be trying to protect her heart.
Okay.
And I mean, that speaks volumes. I mean, I can't tell you that it's gonna be the best thing ever. What I can do is, I can promise you that while she's around me, she's gonna be safe.
All right.
Okay? While she's around me, she'll have the respect.
All right.
That she deserves.
Okay. So you promise her you're gonna protect her and she's gonna get respect. Okay. I can. That's great. I think that's exactly what you should be saying. The question is, do you hold to it? Are you going to protect her? Are you going to show her respect? I mean, you made a good point. I can't say but what I know right now, but I'm going to tell you I'm going to protect her. She's going to be safe. I'm going to respect her. Do you stick to that? I don't buy that he does, but if you stick to that, then you are being a good husband. You are being a good man, and you can make it work.
I just went ahead and said your vows. I mean, very great vows. I mean, you dress sharp. It seems like you're ready, but I mean, things are gonna move fast.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just really hoping that you make the right decision.
Yeah, he basically saying, I got my eye on you. Now, it's interesting because we always see the family members come at him in some way, shape, or form. But this cousin really got his eye on Ikechi. And I think that's interesting because it's almost like a little bit over the top of what you would typically see. So is he sensing something? Is it going to be reality? I don't know. We'll see. I think both of them could cause problems in the relationship. The question is which one does, because they ain't gonna last. I mean, I don't know. Feeling I got, they ain't gonna last. But we'll see if he sticks to it, if she sticks to it, if they can compromise. Maybe they're one of the ones that end up in the end, if any do. And maybe I'm wrong. But that is to be determined. All right, this is going to be a crazy season, but I am looking forward to it all. It has already started to see the cracks. It is going to get so much worse. I see it. I know y'all have seen it. I know y'all have seen the previews coming up. So it is going to be madness ensues. We are only on episode 3. We got some craziness to deal with. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate all the support. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and I will see y'all next time.